Contestant number 5, Carla Lester, comparatinitis.
Comparisonitis. It's not, I guess it's, it's not a real word. I kind of made it up. So. Only when there's enough darkness can you see the stars. Martin Luther King said that. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, imagine your favorite movie without the obstacles and the struggles. Boring. It probably would not even be your favorite movie anymore. And the same is true for life. It takes obstacles, struggles, hard times, pain, and difficulties to fully embrace life. I know that's true for me, especially when I think about the relationship I have with my twin sister, Marla. Whenever someone asks me what it's like being an identical twin, I always tell them I don't know, because I've been a twin my whole life. I don't have anything to compare it to. But as we were growing up, we were always together. And my mom, whenever she called for us, she'd say, Marla, Carla, even if she only needed one of us. When she wasn't looking, we were always fighting. But when we weren't fighting, we were best friends. We played Barbies together. We'd ride bikes together. We watch way too many Disney movies, and you usually see us giggling to ourselves about some inside joke. Wherever I go without her, I hear, "Where's Marla?" And we'd usually pretend to just be sisters to avoid interrogation from strangers. They'd say, "What's it like being an identical twin? Can you read each other's mind? Which one's smarter?" And I'd cringe and I want to hide because I knew it was next. That one's the hefty twin. Ouch! Every time. So around 12 years old, I decided enough was enough. My fitness journey kicked off with me running. And my sister wasn't invited, but she joined me. And she'd wake up early in the morning before school, and she actually made me run faster because I was trying to keep up with her. And exercise for me changed the game. It was hard, y'all. It was hard. But we all know that hard work makes us stronger, and ultimately makes life easier. So I eventually got fit. And then shortly after college, I fell in love with grapevines and step aerobics. Who else loves step aerobics in here? Anybody? Yes. My favorite. It's still my favorite. And eventually I went from fit to fitness instructor. So I teach class. And after that, I went to get my Zumba training certification. But if it wasn't for Marla, if it wasn't for me being the heftier twin, the world might be missing one of its favorite fitness instructors. So I went to get my Zumba instructor certification, and then I lived happily ever after. Psych. Boring, right? I actually couldn't make up what happened next. I'm on my way to my Zumba trainer certification, and I'm listening for our next turn, and I look down, I hear my phone ring, and it's my mom. Before I answered, I knew what she was going to say. She said, "Something's wrong with your sister." My heart sank. I couldn't avoid it anymore. I knew. So we were roommates. We'd been roommates for months, and I saw her always quiet, always withdrawn. She kind of stopped talking to me, and I figured it's just a writer who hasn't been writing. She'd recently been looking for a journalism job. I'd go to the gym, and they'd say, "Where's Marla?" She wasn't there. She was always in her room, quiet, not talking to me, and she'd always had the door closed. But the night before, she wasn't in her room because she didn't come home. I was worried, and I had to face the truth that something was definitely wrong. The next day, I found myself sitting in a hospital waiting room, waiting to find out what happened. Dissecting the last few months, like, what is going on? When the nurse came out to talk to me, she said, "Your sister's had a change in mental status." I tried to fight the urge to ask what that even meant. She kept on asking me questions. I had no idea. Later, my counselor friend said, "Carla, it sounds like schizophrenia." At age 28, I'm thinking, that's crazy. It doesn't happen that way. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it sometimes to this day. For the next 10 years, we'd be in and out of hospital waiting rooms, and nobody could have prepared me for that roller coaster or what happened next. Because sometimes Marla would hate me, sometimes she'd love me, sometimes she'd see me as an enemy, sometimes she'd disappear, sometimes she'd live in her car, on the street, and sometimes she'd even spend time in jail. Wherever I went, when people asked me, "Where's Marla?" I was afraid to say. I felt powerless. I felt like it was too heavy, too dark to talk about it. I was afraid to be honest about it. And a lot of times people, somebody might agree, my mom would agree, it's too dark, too heavy to talk about. But honestly, what I realized is that it's just as much a part of life as everything else. And maybe that line of thinking is good for my mom or big pharma, but it's not good for living a fully lived life. So eventually, just last year, my sister's treatment plan changed, and she's been a whole lot better. Before then, I could not tell the story. And I would still be just telling some people, but I'd still be afraid to talk about it. And one reason why I'm in Toastmasters is to gain the courage and to practice speaking about the dark things that help us to see the stars. Because it'll be one less person in the dark alone. And the next time you're going through something hard, just remember that it takes enough darkness to see the stars. You're not alone. And honestly, just like in our favorite movies, the dark times help us to illuminate the best times. And it's all a part of life. Thank you.